Hi, kindergarten, first and second grade leaders. Thanks for leading. I hope that you are beginning to know your kids a little bit better, all of the new ones that have moved up into your groups, and that you're beginning to get settled and ready to dive into stewardship this month. Big word, big meaning, and this week we start with the biggest of all. We're talking about God's world and how everything in the world belongs to God. And I realize this is a big topic for little kids, but if we can help little kids grasp this when they're so young, can you imagine what God will have for them in the future? And so as you look ahead, this week we're going to be talking about how we can treat everything like it belongs to God. It's hard for anyone to refocus how they think of their stuff, about their stuff, especially little kids. They are very quick to point out, that's mine, 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 mine. But what we hope to do is to guide kids through the process of realizing that everything they have is a gift from God on loan to us. Do you see that change a little bit? That little bitty shift? Everything we have, everything, as adults, our cell phones, everything we have is a gift to us on loan from God. So we need to consider how we use those gifts. Are we using it to better His kingdom? Are we using it to build and to show people Jesus every day? We want kids to walk away with a plan for how they will treat what they have like it belongs to God. Period. Like it belongs to God. If all of us can grasp that everything that we have belongs to God and we get to borrow it for a time, I think it would change our relationships. I think it would change our focus every day. We're not chasing the dollar so that we can have what we really want. We are doing what we can to make God's kingdom better and bigger. So that's where we are this week. In your activity baskets, you will have a hula hoop. And this fun activity will be the same activity for the whole month, and you can change it up as the month goes on. But to start with this month, we want you to take the hula hoop and lay it on the floor close to your small group area. And you're going to call out a letter. And what you want to do is, maybe if you have little bitties, you need to help them understand what the letter is so that they know the letter sound and can think of a word that matches that letter. But what you want to do is call out a letter. Like we'll start with the letter R. And kids are supposed to take turns stepping into the hula hoop, mentioning something that they know belongs to God. Or something that God made. So, with the letter R, we could start with a rainbow. God gave us that as a promise, right? And so a kid would step in to the hula hoop and say, God made the rainbow. And then they get to stay in the hula hoop. And what you're trying to do is fill up that space in that hula hoop with as many kids as you can. And then once that's done, you could choose another letter or you could choose a different aspect. Have fun with this activity. It could be fun for your little ones. If it becomes too much, that a letter is not the right thing to do, you'll know your kids better than anybody at this time. And so you do it based on color. What's something God made that's green? Surely they know colors or sizes or shapes even. So have fun with this. We'll move to large group, do our worship time, and then your small group application activity this week. For the new leaders out there, if you could do any activity, my preference is for you to do this application activity. The other activities there are fluff and good if you get time to get to them, but if you don't get time to get to them, it's okay. Try to at least get this one done because it really is really specific to help the kids understand what we just talked about in large group. So this week you have some pictures that look like this. There's 4 different pictures in there that are colored pictures. And what you're going to do is, first off, you're going to read Psalm 24, verse 1, that says, "The earth is the Lord and everything in it. The world and all its people belong to him." So it asks for you to ask some questions, some follow-up questions about that. And then what they want you to do is to take a picture and hold up the picture and ask every kid to look really close at the picture. And then what I would do is ask each of the kids to close their eyes. Help them understand that when they close their eyes, that doesn't mean they fall over, because they're a big kid and they can sit in their chair. So they can sit in their chair and close their eyes, and after they've looked at the picture, they're going to close their eyes, and then we want them to think with their imagination of ways that that they are standing looking at the scene, and ask them to look up and tell you what they see that belongs to God. So that first picture was of a beach. If they were sitting on the beach right now, what would be the things that they would see that belongs to God? And start naming off some of those things. If some of them need to get creative because they've never been to a beach, that's okay. Let them be creative. And then you can go through all of the other pictures. Wrap up the activity by asking kids to share ways people can take good care of those things. What are some ways that we can take care of the beach, or ways that we can take care of some of the places we live, so that it's available for other people to enjoy it just as much? Make sure that as you emphasize that you're not taking God out of that everything we have is because God gave it to us and he wants for us to enjoy it. So don't make it all about being just taking care of the earth. We want for God's name and his and Jesus to be glorified ultimately, and all of this stuff. So help relate that back to God if you can, possibly. All right. Your memory verse activity this month is you're going to take the memory verse, which is, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." And then you're going to get the kids to use their creative voices to say that verse in different ways. So the little stuff, get them to use their little bitty voice. And then the big stuff, they can use their big giant voice to talk about. Okay? And then you're also going to name off some different scenarios, and you can even get them to be very big, like stand up on their very tippy toes, or really, really little and crouch down as tiny as they can get. Let them have fun with that. That's a way to get the wiggles out and to see their imaginations working. And then you have a pray and dismiss activity. Don't forget your God times. These God times are personal devotions for the kids to do with their families. We would really love for more families to engage in this activity together, and for them to engage in it, they need to have it. So pass out the God times before the kids leave, and help them remember that everything we have is because God gave it to us. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.